Jets GM Joe Douglas, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, good to be with you, Eric.
So let's go back to last Sunday, the win over the Giants. What's going through your mind in those final moments?
You know, it's probably chaos in my mind. You know, it's just there's a lot of excitement. You know, when Zach made those two plays and hit the play to Garrett, hit the play to Allen to get us in field goal range, and then to be able to get the ball clocked in under 11 seconds was just a great job by the entire unit, and something, it was a proud moment for Dan Shamash, who handles all of our in-game coordination, decision making. And so it's something that he touched on early in the season. So for us to get that done in a timely manner in that clutch situation was huge. And then for us to go into overtime and defense to stop them on the first drive, and for us to make the key third down plays to put ourselves in a position to win the game. It was a great team win.
How would you describe these first 7 games? You're 4-3, you're on a 3-game winning streak. Aaron Rodgers goes down on the 4th offensive snap. It was the 3rd play. You were 1-2 at a point there, and the Chiefs are up 17-0. A lot of people at that moment probably left you guys to die. Can you talk about the resilience of this group?
Yeah, you hit it. That would be the word, resilience, and lots of it. From the Buffalo game to being 1-3, and then this team never flinched. They never batted. They never blinked, and they stuck together. They stick together through it all, and they fight. And again, it's a real credit to them. It's a real credit to Robert and the staff. Credit to the scouting staff for finding guys that are made of the right stuff to add to the team. And we've got a long way to go. We've got 10 games coming up, but for us to fight and scratch and claw and get to this point in the season with the adversity that they faced, it's a credit to them.
You guys are really the cardiac kids. Robert Saleh said the other day that character trumps talent in the 4th quarter. Can you talk about that? It's a habit now, where you guys, when you're in a spot, it's a tough spot, you're in the foxhole, and you need to make plays down the stretch, you're coming up with them.
Yeah, I think learning to win is a key thing when you're putting a program together, and it doesn't happen overnight. And so there's a lot of trial and error, obviously, and it doesn't always go your way. But if you keep grinding and you keep fighting and you keep pushing yourself, you keep having these experiences, and you eventually break through, and you know how to handle yourself in key moments of important games. And I feel like this year we've been able, when the plays have needed to be made, we've been able to do it.
What was the NFL trade deadline like for you this time around?
A lot of calls, a lot of conversations. Ultimately, we only did one trade last week. We traded McColl to the Chiefs for a pick flop. But ultimately, there was conversations, and we ended up doing what we felt was best for the team. And there wasn't a lot of deals to be made for us this year, but we were able to add some good pieces today through other avenues, and excited to bring in a veteran like Roger Saffold, a guy that's played in a lot of games and played at a high level in a lot of key games, and has a great experience with Keith Carter, our offensive line coach. So we feel like we're in good position moving forward.
Saffold, like you talked about, how big is the continuity and the system familiarity, him walking in here?
Yeah, I think that's important. I think him spending so much time with Keith and them having a previous relationship, and I think they know what to expect from each other. And everything we know about Roger is top-tier competitor, top-tier person. So he's going to be a good fit for what we're doing.
Where have you seen the most progress from Zach Wilson and taking over from Aaron there in week 1?
I would say the confidence from taking practice to the field on a consistent basis and watching him grow with his confidence, mature as a leader. And you can see the team fights for him, the team has his back, and they believe they're never out of it. And to see where he's come from the first 2 years to now. Again, it's a real credit to Todd Downing, to Nathaniel Hackett, to Rob Calabrese, to Aaron, and the time that they've spent together and the mentorship that Aaron has provided to him as well, and to Zach. And again, I think Zach encompasses that word of resilience. He embodies it.
I know you guys never put ceilings on players, but has Breece Hall surprised you at all, what he's been able to do coming back from that knee injury last year in Denver?
No, Breece is a special person and a special player, and I think nothing really surprises me with Breece because he's so immensely talented and gifted, and such a good young man, and a great addition to our locker room. And he brings really good energy with him, and another guy that's really confident in his ability, but confident but humble, and it's always great to see him bust into the second and third level of the defense and use that speed.
Touching on some 3 consecutive games now, and you talk about that mentality. You could say the same thing about Garrett Wilson. Let's go to the other side of the ball, though. I wanted to ask you about the emergence of Quincy Williams, one of the finest linebackers in the National Football League. When you claimed him off of waivers in 2021, could you ever envision this?
Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of cool player development stories on this team. Quincy's right there, right up there. I mean, we weren't on the same team when Quincy came out of college. Robert was in San Francisco, I was with the Eagles. So, but it's funny when we get together and we talk about Quincy. Once we were getting ready to claim him, the thing that stood out was just how convicted Robert was in that. How great of a fit that Quincy Williams will be for this scheme and this defense. And there was just so much confidence that we are going to get the absolute best out of Quincy. And to watch it happen over the last few years, and to watch him go out in the field every Sunday, and he's an absolute rocket, flying around the field and just, we know the impact that he brings as a tackler, and to watch him do his uppercut celebration after every tackle. He's an energy giver, and again, it's a credit to Robert, it's a credit to Brick.
Okay, so how about the emerging young guys at defensive end? You love your talent, you love your depth there, but Bryce Huff becoming an every down player for you this season, and also Jermaine Johnson, a guy you moved up for in the draft, who people forgot about in that first round equation. He's really taken a leap forward.
Yeah. Quincy, Bryce, those are great player development stories. And, Bryce being an undrafted free agent out of Memphis, and, watching him develop over the last three plus years. And he's really coming to his own as an edge player. And, to see his talent just manifests itself on every play, every Sunday. He's a phenomenal competitor, and he loves football. He's everything that we want when we acquire a player for this team. And then Jermaine, for him to come in, and we have a lot of depth on our D-line. For him to come in as a rookie, learn from the vets are in the room, and then take this major step this year and play with the exact intensity, effort, toughness, violence. And, Jermaine's a dog, and he does it every play, every Sunday. And I think that's just what the expectation is of the defense from Brick and Robert. And that's the expectation of the entire defensive line as they go out and they play with that kind of effort and violence.
When you were hired here, you said, what I want to do is have the best culture in professional sports. What do you think about that culture in the locker room right now? And also, can you speak to somebody who I think really embodies everything that you're doing here, CJ Mosley?
Yeah. It's cool you bring up CJ because, I was in Baltimore when we drafted him. And then, he was here before I came here. And just knowing the type of person that CJ is, you know exactly why he was brought here. And to watch his impact, his quiet, intense impact on our team, and then for us to bring in an unbelievable coaching staff, players that love the game. The locker room is a really good place, and those guys fight for one another. And I think you've heard me say it, the most important room in any organization is the locker room. And you've heard Robert say it, the best organizations are player-led organizations and teams. And you feel like we have that group now of guys. It's a pretty cool little Band of Brothers vibe where everyone's locked arms and fighting for one another.
How much does Salah rub off on those guys? Because he's always got the power of positivity, no matter the situation.
Yeah, that's a superpower for Robert. His positivity is optimism, and it's infectious. And he creates a belief in every single person that's in this organization, player that's on this team, that they can go out there and achieve every single goal that they have set. And he lays that path out for them. And now it's up to you to go do it. And so, what him and Brick and Brant, Nathaniel, what our staff's been able to do to keep the guys together and keep the guys fighting together, it's been special.
I know no timetable on Aaron Rodgers' return, but what have you thought about the steps he's already taken, and also the presence that he brings when he's in the building?
Yeah, I mean, his presence is undeniable. I mean, he has a genuine care for others. He genuinely wants to get to know people. He genuinely wants to build relationships with people, and I think that's why he's been the leader that he is. And it's just great having him in the building, just because he's another guy. He's an energy giver, and he builds confidence. I think with him and Robert and the rest of our staff, I feel like they can walk out of a locker room and say that we can take on the world. It doesn't matter who the opponent is. And so, it's just great having him in the building.
You got a Monday night game coming up. What has the environment been like at MetLife throughout the year?
It's been electric, and especially these night games, right? I mean, the lead into these night games has just created so much energy and passion, and the place is roaring, the beams are shaking, and everyone's going crazy, and the guys feed off that. It's important to them. And so I feel like that positivity is carried over to the energy in that stadium. And it's been fantastic to see.
You're a seasoned scout, so let's get an advanced report on the Chargers. What have you seen from them so far this season?
Yeah, Chargers are one of the most talented teams in football, and well-coached group, and we have a lot of respect for those guys, and they have one of the best quarterbacks in football, Justin Herbert, and so it's going to be a real challenge. It's a big game on the brightest stage, Monday night, and I know they're excited. We're going to have to be disciplined and on top of our details because we know we've got a really good team coming in here.
Joe, appreciate your time as always. Next time we're going to put you up on the news desk.
All right, perfect. Can't wait.
Thanks, buddy.
Thanks, Eric.